Welcome back to the Garden with Joy and Holly radio show. Happy to have you along. Time for your garden questions and our garden answers. If you've got a question, send it on over to gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com. Or you can send us give us a call at toll free, coast to coast at 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469. And we will get you the answer to the question that you have. So let's go through and see what we can get through here. First question is, I'm in Ann Arbor, Michigan. The leaves on my lilacs are turning black and curling up. I thought lilacs were imperviable to almost any problem. Now they look like they might die. Any ideals? That's John listening to us on WAAM Wham Radio, 1600 AM and 92.7 FM.
All right, so lilac blight is an airborne disease, and that's what this sounds like. It sounds like it's likely lilac blight. It can occur at any time, and it can spread through areas, etc. And unfortunately, it could kill off a lilac plant. But the good news is that you can prune it. Like as soon as you see it, you can prune it. So you would prune it, and then you would throw those lilac
into Lake Michigan.
Branches or whatever you want to call it. Ann Arbor isn't near Lake Michigan.
I know.
You can throw the lilac branches or whatever you want to call
That's
them.
That's Holly's answer for a lot of things. Just throw it right in the Lake Michigan.
Oh yeah, I say heave it in Lake Michigan.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's why you said that. I do say that.
Put the diseased limbs and leaves in the trash.
Yes. You don't want to put them in your compost. You don't want to burn them. You don't want to put them in your street or city or whatever compost. You want to put them directly in the trash because you don't want a chance that blight spreading, and it could be a problem. And once you do that, you just, you're not being a kind citizen, essentially. So make sure you do get that in the trash and get rid of it. And then hopefully, it'll do better. You can possibly spray some copper fungicide on that. A lot of these university extension websites say that. It's not always proven for blight. You could try. If you really like your lilac bush, give it a go.
All right. You cover fall garden cleanup. I know many people in the northern U.S. kind of stop after Labor Day. Many of my plants are still growing strong. When should I stop gardening, or is there a better time frame than Labor Day to clean the garden out?
I feel like this is...
Well, not everybody stops at Labor Day.
No, not every... And I feel like this is I don't want to say it's like old-timer advice, but I feel like this is when we had more consistent seasons, and our seasons didn't blend together and overlap so much, whereas now it seems like, our summer really bleeds into fall. And now we have, successful growth of a lot of things.
Well, there's a certain caliber of gardener that goes, well, the garden's shot. It's full of weeds. I'm done. We'll just take the lawnmower, mow it over, and we'll fix it in the spring.
Right. But if your plants are still producing, why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Because somebody told me.
Somebody told me.
Yeah.
And that's fair. And that makes sense. And that's probably how you were raised, or your neighbor told you, or whatever, or your coworker, who knows. But if you're especially if your tomato plants are still blossoming and blooming and putting on tomatoes, don't stop.
We've had tomato plants up to the day of frost still have producing tomatoes.
Yeah. So what you can do is you can kind of assess the situation. Your tomatoes at some point will stop producing as much, especially if they are, what is that? Determinate. Indeterminate. So
indeterminate will produce all season long. Yeah. Determinate, one big crop, and still produce slightly some throughout the rest of the growing season.
So if you get to the point where you're like, you know what, I've just had enough tomatoes, what you can do is you can yank them out.
No, don't yank them out. Get a hold of your city hall and find out if they have a food pantry that will take tomatoes. Because we are in a situation now, whether you want to admit it or not, we, even though if you're listening in the United States, it's supposed to be the greatest country in the world, and it is, there's still 25% of people don't know where their next meal is going to come from. And these food pantries are very difficult to come up with the produce that they need in order to fill the baskets each week for the people who really do need it. So figure out where you can distribute your excessive or over amount of produce in your garden to benefit somebody else.
Yes. So you want to, you can definitely give the food away. And we're not just talking about tomatoes, any produce and there are programs that will take the fresh produce.
But call before you go to see if they will accept it, because there are certain food pantries that do not accept fresh produce.
You could probably Google, food pantry, fresh produce, and put your zip code in or whatever. There are different programs. So that's a good thing to keep in mind too. So you can kind of feel it out. I would not use Labor Day as a hard and fast rule. I would
take Labor Day off and then start again.
I would probably use something like October 15th, because I think that's our first frost date, to give myself a time frame. But yeah, I would not do that.
Okay, when is a good time to harvest watermelon? Is there a secret tip to this?
Yeah, so what you can tell when the spot where the fruit touches the ground becomes more prominent and changes color, so it'll look kind of yellow. I'm sure you've seen like watermelons
even
at the store.
White.
Yeah, or white. You can see watermelons at the store will have that yellowish, almost like white scabby spot. So when you turn your watermelon over and you see that, that's a good sign. The other sign is the tendrils around the stem will often turn brown
and curl
and dry up. The stem will also usually kind of start to look a little bit meh.
If you've gone too long, the watermelon will actually tell you it will crack open.
Yes. So you don't want to do that. You do want to pay attention. If you think it's close to being harvested, check it every day.
And here's the other thing. If you've harvested it too early, this is not like a tomato where you can just take it on the counter and set it there for a couple of days and it'll ripen. It's going to ripen outside before you harvest it. It's not going to ripen after you harvest it. It doesn't work that way.
No, so I wouldn't be like, I'm going to be on the safe side and pull it early. I would wait until you see those signs. The bottom, or whatever you want to call it, is turning that yellowish white.
The portion that contacts the ground.
Yeah, is turning yellowish white, and then also the tendrils around the stem turning brown, curling, and falling off.
Okay, there are many. I have a lot of dragonflies around here in late summer. Do you know why? Well, there's several different reasons why you might have a lot of dragonflies humming around and buzzing around your particular area. Some dragonflies migrate south for the fall, similar to birds. Where the show originates in Wisconsin, you might see dragonflies gathering in masses in late summer as they prepare to migrate. Green or darker color often seems larger swarms as they migrate south for the winter. A population explosion, dragonfly population might occur, and that'll give you more of a swarm. A seasonal prey movement. We're in an area now in certain parts of the country where you're getting rain, like literally tropical rain every afternoon at 3 o'clock. It's like we all live in Florida at certain times. So there's a lot of moisture, which means there's a lot of mosquitoes, and the dragonfly feeds off mosquitoes. So if you have a lot of dragonflies, you probably have there's a possibility you have a lot of mosquitoes, and those dragonflies will eat the mosquitoes. So that's another reason. Newly
emerged adults. So they lay their eggs in large group, and then when the newly emerged adults come out, they do seem to kind of come in waves. But I think it's just kind of a seasonal things, and they are beneficial to ecosystems. They eat mosquitoes, insects.
That's one of the primary
nips.
Nips. That's one of the primary things. So if you see a lot of mosquitoes wherever you're at, enjoy them. They're very pretty to look at. Do not swat at them. They're not harming anything. They're not going to harm you. So they are a benefit to your garden, your house, your everything. So
your area, your ecosystem, all the good things.
Yes. I want to grow okra next year. Can you give me any advice on doing such? I'm in southeast Wisconsin. Well, you can grow okra in the north. We have done it. It's not as prominent as it would be if you were in Louisiana or South Tennessee or anything like that, but it can be done. Now, there are burgundy varieties, there are green varieties, there are 135 varieties of okra in the world. Not all of them are commercially available. They are also known as ladyfingers. And what you want to find out, first make sure, I know you want to grow it, and we've kind of joked about that on the program every now and then. Oh, you want to grow okra. Do you like okra? Not really. Then why are you growing it?
Because I don't like okra.
I know you don't like okra. So make sure you like okra. Now, find it at a farmer's market. That's going to be your best avenue of freshness than at the store. So figure out what varieties are available, and then you really don't want to start them in a starting tray. They have a very thick and long taproot, and that can get damaged in transplanting. So you would have to figure out where you're located in southeast Wisconsin, or whomever else is listening that wants to grow it. Start it early in the spring, but it is like a tomato. It doesn't like frost. Full sun, a lot of water. It loves the heat, so put it in the hottest portion of the garden and keep the water to it, and harvest the okra in decent sized pieces. You don't want to go too large because it will get woody. It is a relative of the hibiscus plant. They have beautiful flowers whenever they start developing on the plant. And here's another tip. If you have family members that do not like the sliminess of okra, dehydrate it. The sliminess goes away. I enjoy deep fried okra. It is nice. You don't like okra at all. We know that. That's why you're not talking about it. It's very good. It has its purpose, and like gumbo. Gumbo does not gumbo have okra?
I don't like gumbo either.
Okay, all right.
I don't like it in gumbo.
Okay.
I'll pick it out, just like cooked celery.
All right. Well, so I hope that helps, and you certainly can grow okra in the northern areas. It's not a southern crop. Well, with that being said, it's reached that portion of the program where we discussed what we learned today. And I learned that I was not aware that some nut trees can take up to 10 years before they start maturing and putting produce on. That is a very long, patient process before you're able to harvest something that you planted.
I just learned that there's a plethora of nut trees that you can grow in the northern parts of the United States. And I also learned that some of them are like shrubs versus trees, which I think is cool. Like if I was going to grow one, I probably would grow more of the shrub ones.
Well, what we learned today is brought to you by Honey Bee Healthy.
Honeybeehealthy.com is serious about the business of bees and helping beekeepers maintain healthy and thriving hives. Whether you're a professional beekeeper or a bee hobbyist, we've got the products to help you maintain a healthy hive. Honeybee Healthy products are made in the USA. Visit honeybeehealthy.com.
Tune into